Cisse's headed back to the Palmetto State. After 2 years and a dozen starts with NC State, the South Carolina native is leaving Raleigh. He's headed down to Columbia, and he's joining forces with Clayton White, Shane Beamer, and a Gamecock defense that believes it's good enough to win a national championship in 2025. So let's create the move. Welcome on into SEC Unfiltered. It's Cole Thompson here. Make sure that you like the video, hit the ring notification, and smash the subscribe button because we talk college football every single day. Download the podcast version of the show wherever you get your podcast listening systems. Follow us on the socials, link in the description. Follow me. That way the back and forth banner can continue at Mr. Cole Thompson on Twitter and Instagram. And check out all of our great work found at SECUnfiltered.com. This episode is brought to you by our friends over at GameTime. Download the GameTime app and use the promo code SECU for $20 off your first purchase. You got college basketball, college baseball, the NBA, the NHL, the MLB is right around the corner. Maybe your favorite comedian's coming to town. Stop wasting time. Stop wasting money. Go to GameTime. Use the GameTime app, promo code SECU, $20 off your tickets simply by just signing on up and saying the SEC Unfiltered crew sent you. Cisse is a really interesting player for Clayton White's defense. This is a really good fit for what they're looking for on the outside because there's a certain number of criteria that you have to meet if you want to be a part of this Gamecock culture. Number one, willing to tackle. That is Cisse. He is not afraid to deliver hits. He is not afraid to go ahead and use his body. He is not afraid to wrap on up. He is not afraid to play physical in coverage and against the run. Number two, you have to have an alpha mentality. When on the field, Cisse was one of the better cornerbacks for NC State. He allowed, I think it was 14 receptions over the last year and a half. On top of that, he also was really good at breaking up passes during his 2 seasons with the Wolfpack. He finished with, I believe it was 6 pass deflections. He also had an interception. So he does a little bit of everything. He is not afraid to be physical at the line of scrimmage. He is not afraid to play off coverage. He is not afraid to go ahead and deliver the type of hits that you're looking for to set a tone. The other thing, he is a homegrown talent. You want to keep the kids in the Palmetto State. You want there to be a belief in a culture that this guy's going to take that next step forward. He does all that. And he also plays with a bit of a mean streak. He is not afraid to go ahead and act like the top dog in coverage. This is a defense that's going to lose a ton of talent into the NFL draft. Lots of veteran names are not going to be back next year. So you need to be able to establish a young culture with some veteran talent and some veteran upside. You look at the names that have been added in via the portal this year. Justin Okunakro, the linebacker from Alabama. You also bring in Rodney Newsom, Rasul Faison, Sean Murphy, Aaron Nolan, Devontae Mills. You found ways to get these smaller tier players to step on up and act like the veterans of this team. So you already have a good culture in place with the players that are currently coming back in 2025. But now you're adding in players that say they fit our mold, they fit our brand, they fit our style. We're only going to elevate off it. If there's anybody who needs to no longer be doubted, it's Shane Beamer. And the reason I say that is because of every single year, besides 2023, he has overexceeded expectations. He's hit the win marker by double. He's taken his team to 3 bowl games. They just finished with a top 25 ranking in the college football playoff poll, and they were probably a win away from going to the college football playoff. They have a veteran talent at quarterback in Lenore Sellers. They have a now fourth-line starter at right tackle or left tackle in Josiah Thompson. They have a good defensive lineman to replace Kyle Kennard production in Dylan Stewart. They have some guys taking that next step forward. You still have Jalen Kilgore. And now you brought in some competition. The worst that a guy like Cisse is going to be is a depth piece to where he doesn't start week 1, but then an injury occurs and you go, oh, he comes on in and he provides us with an immediate impact. We don't miss a beat. Lo and behold, now a 10-2 season is still on the radar. A potential college football playoff berth is still on the radar. We are not going to lay down idly and just think that last year was a one and done for us. We're only taking advantages of that. And it's culture and it's standard. A guy like Cisse fits both. So let's go ahead and grade the move. If you look at the grading chart, elite, all league, winnable plus, winnable minus. Very hard to get all elite. Very hard to get all league. Most of your roster is in the winnable plus, winnable minus category. For me, Cisse, winnable plus. Went on the field. Very healthy. Very good in coverage. You're losing talent at the cornerback position. You got to be able to have somebody else to step on up besides Jalen Kilgore, besides DQ Smith. You got to be able to have somebody that can pair alongside with Judge Collier. You brought in some transfers as well. Who was it? The cornerback Miles Norwood from Ball State. You also feel like that you add in, there was one of the recruits. So you're getting that veteran name presence to come on in. A guy like Cisse can be a plug and play addition right now. He can be a dude that you say, hey, we need you to cover number 1, and he's done it in the ACC. He'll do it in the SEC. He's a guy that has 2 years of eligibility. So let's say that this season, it's a breakout year. He's phenomenal. He ends up having an all SEC season. He's going to go pro and well to it, representing the Gamecocks at the next level as part of the most underappreciated DBU in the history of the NFL. Or he has an okay season and he's back next year in 2026. So the foundation is set for years to come. This is a guy that grew up in the state. This is a guy that grew up knowing what Gamecock culture was about. This is a guy that now can elevate your squad, whether it be for depth purposes, whether it be for starting experience. It's all a positive at the end of the day. The teams that go the deepest into the college football playoff are the ones that have the fewest questions on their roster. Adding in a guy like Cisse answers one question. It fixes your depth at cornerback. It could elevate your team even more if he ends up winning the starting job, becoming a fixture week 1, and eventually one of the reasons why South Carolina once again has a top 25 unit, especially in scoring. He could be that difference maker. But at the end of the day, at the worst, he is somebody that is going to elevate your roster just in case you're missing out on talent, just because of injuries. In best case scenario, he's the reason why you're punching your ticket to a 12-team college football playoff and only continuing to build off of the established culture that was implemented in 2024 and beyond. But let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think of Brandon Cisse going to Columbia in 2025? Like, review, make sure you hit subscribe, follow us on all the social channels, link in the description, follow me at Mr. Cole Thompson. Check out all of our great work found at SECUnfiltered.com. Until next time, folks, I am Cole Thompson. War Chickens, you got yourself a cornerback too. Peace.